Have you wrapped your brain around the fact that there are, what, 8 billion people on this planet? There is so much success to go around. There's so much happiness. There's a tremendous amount of money to make. There's a ton of people to date. And when you focus on the fact that there is limitless possibilities for you, you're not in competition with anybody in this room. And the louder you cheer for other people, the more you invite people in, the more you will be invited in and the more cheering there will be for you. It is incredible when you can flip your mind from being jealous and competitive and small-minded, like if she's getting that, it means I don't. Oh, no, 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 no. If you see somebody getting something that you want, it's evidence that you can have it too. You're just going to get it and have it in your own way. And so you want to make it a habit to cheer for and celebrate all the women, everybody you see around you, because their success means you can have it too. And trust me, if you are a talented, hardworking, kind person, a company will make room for you. They will find another job doing that same thing. And so you focus on you. You focus on being the best you. And I promise you, all the other people around you that are having those things that you want, that's evidence you can have it too. I like to think of other people as a light on the path I'm walking down. They're shining a light that helps me walk in the direction of what I want.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know there's something more inside you too. You've got Michael Jordan level genius at something. So today, let's live your best belief life and learn how to get 1% better every single day.
So how many of you struggle with a bit of comparison and jealousy? Yeah, all your hands should go up. That's right, because we all do, right? So you want to know a cool thing about jealousy? Jealousy is like the coolest emotion because jealousy tells you what you want. I'm not talking about envy, like I hate her, she doesn't deserve that, da, 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 da. I'm talking about that like, oh, I want to be doing that. Oh, I want, oh. You know, you can relate to that feeling, right? That like, oh, when's it going to be my turn? Oh, I want that thing. So here's the cool thing about jealousy. You can't be jealous of somebody unless you want the thing that they have. So it's personal, so personal. My daughter, who is a singer-songwriter, that's what she's studying, she's a junior in college, she's so jealous of anybody that's on tour. She's so jealous of people that are doing the work and putting out their music. I am not jealous about that at all. My voice is terrible. Like if I sing a hymn in church, people are like, you need to pipe down over there because you're ruining this moment for me. I am not jealous of somebody who has a penthouse in Abu Dhabi because I don't want to live there. That is not what's meant for me. Let me tell you what jealousy actually is. Jealousy is your deepest desires and dreams blocked by your fear. Jealousy is your deepest desires and dreams blocked by your fear. Your fear, your insecurity, your imposter syndrome, your past trauma, all that garbage, it has put a lid on what is meant for you. And so when you feel jealous of someone or something or some opportunity and you feel yourself putting the lid on and you feel that negative energy coming on, you need to, again, use the 5-second rule, count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take control of the moment. And then flip it and go, oh, interesting. I'm not actually jealous. I'm inspired. Like, that's my desire. That person is evidence. And here's the other thing. Y'all live in the coolest moment in time. You can literally stalk people online legally. You can learn from anybody. You know, when I was your age, if you walked into a bookstore or a library and you checked out a self-help book, whoa, that was embarrassing. Personal development is like the coolest thing in the world. You can listen to podcasts for free. You can literally research any subject on the planet, from neuroscience to launching a business to how to monetize and make money on Instagram to how to install a Shopify account and make it, like, you can research anything. You can follow anybody's footsteps, reverse engineer it, and start walking down the path. It is so cool. And so the only thing that's going to limit you in terms of you doing the work to have everything that you want in your life is your fears. Now, I'm not in the land of toxic positivity here, because I know that there is a lot of realities around money and time and obligations that you have to help out family or stuff you have to deal with in terms of mental health. I totally understand that. But I want you to hear me loud and clear that you can make anything happen through your actions and your attitude. It may not take a year, it might take 10 years. But it's through action that everything changes.
Rule number 2, learn to say no with Gabby Bernstein.
Hi, Maria. How are you, sweetheart?
I'm doing well. How are you, Gabby?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be back with you guys.
This is my first time joining in on Zoom, so of course I get chosen.
Meant to be, baby. Meant to be.
So I'm so glad. I'm just thinking of Tina and Riley as well, and I'm just wishing them well.
So what's your Dear Gabby, sweetheart?
I tend to give myself to the ones I love as much as I can. I love helping people. I've noticed, though, that it's turned into a pattern of burning myself out at the expense of others, especially my parents. They're reaching that age now that I want to give back to them. You know, they gave so much to me growing up, and now I'm an adult and I can give back to them. Yet I'm finding myself being pulled in that direction and in the direction of my husband and the family we're trying to grow. So it's a lot. So I can do that.
A lot of you giving, and not a lot of you receiving. Is that correct?
Right. I mean, at this moment, not a lot of receiving. I don't ever feel like I should expect that from others, I guess.
Okay. Let's go there. Okay. So, my love, the storyline, I don't think I should expect that from others, that overgiving is my special skill. Overgiving is what makes me good enough, feel worthy enough. I see you shaking your head. Yes. And in that place of overgiving, what you're doing is overriding your core need to be seen and soothed and loved and cared for by others. And often what happens when we go into that pattern of overgiving, we not only burn out ourselves because we're just exhausted from all the giving. And we don't have the belief that we are worthy of receiving. But what is even worse is that we don't allow others the opportunity to give to us. When you show up so much, the expectation and the dynamic is set up that, oh, she's going to take care of it. She's going to show up. She's the one that's going to fix everything. And I want to honor you for your desire to serve your parents at this later time in their life. It sounds like they did a lot for you. All of that's beautiful. All of that's admirable, but it can't be at your own expense. You cannot be overriding your own well-being. We're seeing this a lot of the belief system that I'm not good enough unless I'm saving everybody else. Now, that belief system will just burn you out. And so as this relates to our topic of do less and attract more, what I want to point out is that every single big issue that we face here on Dear Gabby has a bigger root cause condition, right? We all have these experiences at a young age and in our childhood that have established the limiting belief systems of I'm not good enough if I'm not serving or controlling, or in the case of our first guest, Tina, I'm not good enough unless I'm doing and perfect in her perfection world. And so when we carry these beliefs into adulthood, they become the exact beliefs that open us up to the possibility for healing, because they bring us to our knees. They bring us to a bottom. They bring us to the moment of saying, I need a miracle. This ain't working anymore. And hopefully they do, because if they don't, then we just live in a hamster wheel, constantly stuck in the behavioral pattern. But if you're listening to Dear Gabby, you know well enough that this is an old pattern that you've been recreating in the present. And so the deeper work, I'm always going to come back to this, the deeper work of undoing the past and the history and the stories of why you need to overgive to feel good enough has to be addressed in a therapeutic setting, has to be done in a deeper therapeutic work, whatever form that comes for you. But what we can address right now in this moment is starting to create new habitual adjustments to get just into the practice of trying to be more receptive. Because you can do both simultaneously. You can do the deeper, bigger healing work and therapy, and at the same time, start to adjust your behavioral patterns because you have enough awareness, you have enough personal growth, you have enough support around you, even being here and part of the Dear Gabby community, to start to show up for yourself, right? Okay. So I want, just like with Tina, I said I wanted her for counting 90 days, doing nothing, to do less, right? I want you to start, my love, to give yourself permission at least once a day, counting days, to say no. Oh, I see your face. You just went, like your face literally said, uh-oh. Your face said, uh-oh. What comes up for you when I say that?
Well, it's not necessarily an uh-oh as much as it's like time and I need to just surrender. I think I've been in that space the last probably 2 weeks where I've been praying for the signs, and I don't know if God's finally going to throw a shoe at me and say, I've sent you so many signs, like just surrender, woman. So I think that was the sigh of, okay, I need some behavioral strategies for moving to that next step, because the knowledge is there and I'm hearing the words and I'm nodding and I'm like, well, yes. And now it's like, okay, step into it. So that's why
we go into a state of amnesia when we are in any form triggered into the habitual pattern of the ways that we avoid our feelings, right? So we go into a temporary dissociated state where we literally are like forgetting all of the spiritual and personal growth knowledge that we have, and we just dive right into okay, I got to help everybody now. And then you feel hungover the next day from it. And you're like, how did I get there again? And it is like any other addiction. Helping and overserving is another form of addiction, once again. And like I said, over and over, this is a space where you're going to want to use the support systems that the universe can bring to you. I want to pray for you right now to be guided to the right healers and therapists and support systems to help you heal the root cause condition. But what we can begin to do and have some fun with and not overthink is just start to play a game called the no game. Play the no game, and it's going to be super uncomfortable, and you're going to mess it up, and you're going to be awkward, and you're going to feel so weird doing it. But we can change patterns through the repetition of a new behavior, and we can do that while we're simultaneously healing the root cause of the problem. So this is your Gabby homework. Count to 90 days and then keep going after 90 of once a day saying no. No, I will not be able to help you with that. No, I'm not going to cook dinner tonight. No, I cannot drive to your house, mom and dad, to do whatever you need me to do. No, 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 no. You sound like my little toddler, Oliver. No, no, no. I want you to literally sound like a toddler. No, I'm just kidding. But I do really want you to take this seriously, because you have to practice your no. And the thing that you also have to hear from me is that sometimes no is the kindest word. It's the kindest response. Because when you're overriding and overdoing, you're actually becoming resentful. You're becoming resentful of all the people that are taking. And that resentment is going to come out in your energy. It's going to come out in your attitude. And it's not actually helping those people. So you think you're helping by saying yes, 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 but actually you're harming, because inside of you, it's just this battle of saying no when the outside is yes, yes, yes. And that creates a big ball of resentment that, whether you realize it or not, is being picked up all around you.
Rule number 3, organize your life better with Brendan Burchard.
You have to find what feels good for you. You have to figure it out. My friend Adrian, who teaches yoga with Adrian, someone I just love. One of the great original, big online yoga teachers. Just an amazing, amazing person. I think her whole brand was like, find what feels good. I loved that. And it's a very common saying in the health circles, but I feel like a lot of people don't run in health circles. And so what feels good for you? Like, what feels good for you? Like, genuinely feels good mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. You need to journal about that. What feels good to me in my health practices? So I'll give you some of mine, because I want to make these tactical as well. For me, what feels good for me, personally, and it's not the same for everyone, what feels good for me, as an example, a calm, slow morning. I'm pretty dumb in the morning. I'm slow to rouse in the morning. I like to, kind of shuffle around the house, get a tea or a coffee. Yeah, I know you're like, do you drink coffee now? I'm like, I do. Usually half calf, maybe, mostly decaf, but once in a while, I went on a trip to France and they had that espresso and oh my gosh, it ruined me. I think I went 36, 37 years of my life without any coffee. Anyway, just now it's the flavor. And it'll sit down with my book, a little piece of paper or my journal, and I like a slow morning. A slow morning is great for my mental health. That's for me, right? My wife is the opposite. She's incredible. By like 10 a.m., she has done more than most humans in a decade. I don't know how she does it. Shout out to Denise. Like one of the most amazing, she wakes up and a list of things download into her brain. And she just starts going at them. It's unbelievable. Talk about a morning person. Me, my mom, the opposite. My dad, he was ready to get up and go to work because he was in the military all his life. Biologically, we all have different rhythms, don't we? Right? Some of those are conditioned and we create. Some of that's how we are. I think I conditioned my slow morning because I like it. What feels good to me is a slow morning. How simple is that? How controllable is that? Even if there's chaos and there's a lot going on, I can find my moments, which we'll talk about. I can find my moments to recalibrate and reset, even if it's hectic and crazy because there's people around the house or something's going on. Still, I got to make sure that morning finds those moments of calm and peace and intention for myself. Otherwise, it can really frazzle out a lot of the day. So that feels good to me. Also, what feels good for me is sleep. We can't have a conversation without this. If you have never done hard work to figure out exactly how you can have your best night of sleep on a recurring basis, there's almost nothing more we would need to talk about than you doing that alone. Sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night for all humans all around the world is vital. People always say, no, Brendan, you don't understand. I can do 6 hours a night. I'm like, yes, you can. And you have no idea how much more effective and happy you would be with more. But I can get away with this, or you don't understand this, or this thing's going on, or I just had the kids. I'm like, no, trust me, I understand. I've been doing this and teaching this for 20 years. I've had all the conversations. There's no surprise you're going to throw at me about sleep. What happens, though, is people use the excuses versus make the plans. I need you to make the plans. I need you to make the plans. Very key. I need you to make the plans. So what is your plan for having great sleep? And sometimes it sucks. I get it. It's like you feel like you just can't even get a break. There's life, there's intensity, there's things, there's people, there's family, there's all that. I get it. And you got to figure that piece out for you. I love sleep. It feels good to me, so I try to protect it. What else? Find what feels good. You know what feels good for me? Planning. If you look at my growth day, my plan, it's full. It's filled out with plans and deadlines and reminders. If you look at next to my computer, there's all these checklists written down. And by the way, I don't naturally do that. I actually don't like planning. I love the mental and emotional effect of planning. Anyone follow that one? Yeah, you guys see, right? That's the difference maker for me. I don't like the act of sitting down and doing it. It's not like I find tons of joy in organizing my life. I just don't. I love the mental clarity, the peace, the progress that comes from making plans. Write down your goals, write down your deadlines, identify your projects, know who you need to reach out to, know who you're waiting on, know what your priorities are of the day. If you need any advice on this in Growth Day, remember, you can go to the Learn section, you can smash the Watch Past Events, and you can watch an entire month of training on productivity. You can go to your courses and watch an entire training on the habit of productivity from the world's the world's largest research study on high performance habits. That high performance habit builder course that you have unlocked in the course section of your app. Just go to the Learn section, go to courses, and you can see high performance habit builder. There's a whole section just on productivity. And that productivity isn't done just to get ahead and to succeed. It's because you feel better when you organize your life better. When you lead life and live life with more intention, when you have a little bit more clarity, you feel better. Strip away someone's clarity, their intention, their connection with what they need to do today, and misery sets in over time. We just know it. With no connection to our intention and our future, we feel less motivated and good today. That's why the plan is so important for me. What else feels good to me? Less carbs. I love to eat them. I don't like the feeling afterwards. I love to eat them. The feeling afterwards does not align with my energetic vision, right? So I would be a person who, my natural tendency would give me all the potato chips, give me all the pizza, give me all the bad food 24/7. But the effect of it doesn't align with my energetic vision. And I know when I do those things and I feel terrible the next day, it's so out of alignment for what I want energetically in my life, my self-respect goes down. I get down and I'm less productive, happy. Does that make sense? Very key to understand. Very key to understand. That's for me. Again, I'm sharing you my things. Another thing I know feels good for me, because people always ask, I'm massive amounts of water and electrolytes every day. I really believe most people are so dehydrated, they have no idea that most headaches, as an example, are tied to dehydration. Most people have no idea that their physical stiffness and inflammation happens because they're not having enough water go through their body. A lot of people are so dehydrated and they're shocked when you just drink some more water and really? And they start doing that, this changed my life, oh my God. And now they have fancy little bottles all around the house and they carry them along with them, I think it's important that most people realize how critical hydration is to their lives. So I have to learn that. I also know that what feels good to me is a body that's not inflamed by terrible diet or things that I drink or consume that increases inflammation. As inflammation goes up, fatigue goes up. As inflammation goes up, weight goes up. As inflammation goes up, life expectancy goes down. You want to find one or two main culprits of dis-ease in our health, physically, inflammation. A high inflammation diet kills you sooner. So we have to figure out okay, we have to study what are the things that inflame my body. That's partially knowing what you might be allergic to, right? Your food allergies, as an example. But also just the basics of understanding certain things that you eat or consume tends to elevate your level of inflammation. And if you don't know what those are, see a dietitian, a nutritionist, go read some books, watch some videos on YouTube about anti-inflammation diets. And you'll see it completely changes your life. It did for me.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
Rule number 4, touch your genius with Sadguru.
There is something called as a genius in a human being. Every human being has it. Every human being touches it at some moment of life. But the question is, how often do you touch it? That's a question. You sparked once in your lifetime. That's not good enough. You must be sparking all the time, isn't it? What is genius? There are many ways to look at it. One simplest way to look at it is, when we say intelligence, we are always thinking logical thought. No, logical thought will be meaningless probably in another 25 years because your computer may be able to explore all the permutations and combinations of logical thought much quicker and better than you can do. So touching the genius means there's another dimension of intelligence within you. What did you have for breakfast? Chicken and salad. See, he ate a chicken. Over the afternoon, this chicken has transformed itself into a human being. If you ask Charles Darwin, how long does it take for a chicken to become a human being, he would talk in terms of millions of years. Here he is. Over the afternoon, he transforms a chicken into a human being. So there is an intelligence here, there is a competence here, which is capable of what nature did over 1 million years like that over the afternoon. Only thing is, this is an unconscious state of intelligence. Whatever is unconscious, if the necessary striving is there, you can make it into your conscious process. In your conscious process, if this intelligence, even a drop of this intelligence is available to you, suddenly life will spark like it's a magic. What everybody slogs for, you can just simply do it. Now when I say intelligence, always people would think this. If you say intelligence and ask them to show in sign language, they'll always say this, isn't it? They'll not say this or this or this or this. But one cell in your body is doing more activity than your brain could ever do. One molecule of DNA is doing so many millions of functions in a minute that you can never ever figure it out. Yes or no?
Rule number 5, read books with Jay Shetty.
So many of you have been asking me, Jay, how do you read so many books? How do you get through them? What's your strategy? What's your approach? Do you even sleep? The answer to all those questions is in this video. Now, how many of you have a stack of books that's taller than you that you really want to read this year, this month, this week, and it just keeps growing? And you keep looking at your schedule and thinking, I've got less time this week than I had last week. And maybe you're thinking, I don't even know where to start. Reading is super important. I've found it really fulfilling in my life and really useful and insightful as well. I want to share with you what some of the most successful people in the world think about books. Warren Buffett says that he spends 5 to 6 hours a day reading 5 newspapers. Bill Gates reads about 50 books a year, mainly business, health, engineering, diseases. Mark Zuckerberg says that he reads books to learn and educate himself about different cultures and backgrounds. Oprah calls reading her personal path to freedom. Mark Cuban says that he reads to learn about new industries. Now, this is going to tell me how old you are. If you remember the Britannica Encyclopedia, Elon Musk said that he read that by the time he was 9 in total. And this is my favorite one. Phil Knight, the CEO of Nike, said that he kept his library so sacred that when people entered it, they had to take off their shoes and bow down. So there's plenty of good reasons why you should read, but you really need to know your own. That's my number 1 tip. You need to know why you're going to read a book. Is it because you want to be entertained and have an escape? Is it because you want to learn new information and grow? Is it because you want to find new ideas about how to improve your life? The closer you get clarity on your vision for why you're reading a book, the more likely you're going to be a successful reader. Now, I'm not going to be teaching you a new technique that's going to take you a year to learn before you even start reading, or something that you need to practice. I'm going to share really practical, simple tips on how to read more, faster, better. So the first thing I do before I start reading a book is I find the TED Talk. I find the YouTube video that's going to tell me all about that person's big idea. What I'm trying to do here is grasp the concept of the book as quick as possible. It allows me to understand the essential principles, the underlying thought behind the book from the author without having to invest a week or a month or however long it takes to actually finish a book for you, or maybe never. So being able to watch that TED Talk, watch that YouTube video allows you to figure out whether you even feel that that topic is compelling, whether you feel attracted to that subject, or whether you feel you understood it from the talk and might not even need to read the book. Basically, my point is that talk should let you know whether that book is worth reading for you. It should inspire you to want to go and order it straight away. If it doesn't, it's probably a good idea to skip.
No, I'm not going to read this.
And you don't lose anything. You've just watched a 15-minute talk and learned loads of new stuff. So I'm going to talk you through a book that I read last year. It's called The Organized Mind. This could be any book. I'm just using this as an example because it has some highlights in it. The first thing I do when I get a book, after I've watched a YouTube video or a TED Talk, I highlight the sections that I really find interesting. Most books today, self-development books, personal growth books, all split up into parts. Here you can see part 1, part 2, etc., etc. And the first thing I do is I highlight the sections in that book that stick out to me straight away. It's like going through a menu and saying, oh, I really like the sound of that. I'd love to taste it. I really like the sound of that. That's what I want to learn about. And that requires you to be really conscious of what you're willing to gain from the book. So as you can see here, what I've highlighted in part 1 is too much information, too many decisions. I want to improve my decision making, so I've highlighted that. In part 2, I've highlighted organizing our social world. I'm super interested about how humans connect, and so I've also circled that bit. Here, I'm making a selection of the parts of the book that I want to read. I always recommend reading chapter 1. The author has put so much energy into that chapter that you definitely shouldn't miss it. But after that, make sure you're highlighting the spaces that you're really going to dive into. I recommend highlighting 1 to 2 chapters from each part. Now, you may be thinking, do I start from the introduction? Some introductions actually teach you how to read the book. If an author's done that, that's incredible. Make sure you read that introduction. Apart from that, you can start at chapter 1 and then make your way through.
Let's do this.
So now you've circled the chapters of interest, you can dive straight into them. And as you get into them, I'm going to give you a few quick tips on how you can make that process faster and more useful. Now, if you're someone who loves audiobooks, there's these really cool apps that actually speed up how quick you can hear. Now, if you're a reader like me, there's a way of doing that too. When you're reading, as simple as it sounds, it works. You can use your finger as a guide. The more you speed up your finger, times 1, times 2, times 3, the quicker you'll be able to read. It's the same thing audiobook apps are using right now. You listen at speed 1 and then move to speed 2 and move to speed 3. You're simply using your finger as the ability to start reading faster. It actually does work. The other thing you can do is focus on the most important words in a sentence. We've all seen those examples where you could actually read words and paragraphs where all the letters and all the words are jumbled up because our brain is able to process the bigger picture quicker. What I recommend is focus in on the more stronger words in a sentence. Hence, if a sentence has 12 words, you can read the most important 4 to 6 words and still extrapolate the same meaning. Even inside a chapter, you can skip to subheadings and divisions that you find fascinating. We have this fixation on reading every word, finishing every book, and finishing every page. The reality is, most of us never let that happen. The tips I'm giving you are going to help you read a book within 2 hours or a day and help you decide whether you want to read the book cover to cover. Now imagine if you spent a month or 2 months reading a book and afterwards felt, well, what did I gain from that? What did I learn from that, if anything? What if you read it in 2 hours and then had the opportunity to decide to read the whole thing? I guarantee you, when you do it in this way, you'll be able to read books that you really, really value. Another way to speed up the reading process is read the first 3 lines and last 3 lines of paragraphs that you think you might be interested in. If you're not sure, when you do that, you'll be able to quickly contextualize whether that paragraph has insights that you really want to know. Authors place a lot of emphasis in starting and ending paragraphs with key information. You'll be able to grab it and decide if you want to read the rest. The interesting thing is, when we read, even though it feels like we're flowing across the words, it's not true. Our eyes are actually doing a stop-start motion. And when our eyes stop, we're able to grab information. And when they start, we move to the next. So that loses a bit of time. Now, when you're trying to look at the most important words, you're able to grasp 90% of the meaning with just looking at 30% of the words. It also stops your eyes from having to constantly do a stop-start motion, trying to make it flow, when actually you're jumping to the most important words in the sentence. Try it out with 3 or 5 sentences and see if it works for you. Now, not all these tools are going to work for you straight away. Some of the more simple ones you can put into practice right away. I also make sure that after a chapter, I write down what I call the 3S formula. I write down a story that really inspired me or moved me. I write down a statistic that I thought blew my mind. And the third thing I do is I make a note of something I want to share with someone else. That's a great way of getting more out of a book. Now, if you're not inspired by a book, drop it. Finishing a book is nowhere near as important as actually learning from it and gaining from it. Our success metrics for reading books is how many we've finished versus how much we've actually learned. So try out whichever of these tips that work for you. Make sure you start off by watching that TED Talk, watching that YouTube video to grab the essence of the book. The second thing you want to do is highlight the key chapters and areas that you really want to dive into. Remember, it's just like going shopping. You don't need to go through every aisle to get what you want. Remember, you can grab as much information as you need just from the first 3 lines and the last 3 lines of every paragraph to decipher whether it's relevant to what you're reading for. And remember, when you're reading, if something's not inspiring you, it's not motivating you, you're not learning from it, don't drag yourself through it. Find the next book and get working.
Rule number 6, set goals with Lisa Billiard.
How do I set my goals, then actually keep the motivation to follow through? All right, I love this question because it's actually a 2-parter. Number 1, goal setting. Number 2, motivation. They are completely different. And so we think that if we've set a goal, that we're instinctually going to have the motivation in order to keep them. Because when we wake up in the morning, let's say we have like this new drive. It's like, oh my God, I want to do a YouTube show. Let's just do that nice and easy. Women of Impact. I want to do a YouTube show. I'm so excited. I've set the goal. I want to hit 100,000 followers. I'm going to do that in a year. Amazing. I've got the idea. I've got the strategy. I'm on fire. And then 3 months later, hitting the fan, I can't freaking get guests on, equipment is failing, the goal isn't going to help keep me going. So I actually see them as 2 separate entities. Number 1, setting the goal. That means where do I want to be in what amount of time? That's how I do goal setting. So let's say, for instance, in 5 years, this is actually true, in 5 years, I want to be able to affect a 14-year-old girl that feels insecure about herself. Okay, that's a very clear, very articulate mission of who I want to impact and how I want to impact them. So now I go, that's a very clear goal. Okay, but that's 5 years. Try and keep motivation just by repeating that goal in your head time and time again for 5 years. You're not going to be able to do it. Why? Because when you feel like shit about yourself, guys, when shame comes in, when guilt comes in, when all these emotions come in that are, I hate to say inevitable, when you're doing a journey, when you're trying to achieve something, these are all the things that may rear their ugly heads. So the question is, how the hell do I make sure those things do not keep me from my goal? Because you've already set the goal. That has nothing to do with the motivation that's going to get you there. So separate them. Now you've said your goal, okay? I want to achieve this by this date. Now it's, what is the motivation I'm going to use as a tool on the days that I don't feel like I actually want to achieve my goal? Because it's going to happen. It doesn't matter how many times, guys, I tell myself that I'm going to affect this 14-year-old girl. It doesn't matter how many times I repeat that to myself. When shit hits the fan and I just feel shit about myself, that reminder of what my goal is doesn't freaking help. It doesn't snap me out of this negative downward spiral that I might go into, no matter how much I really want the goal. So when it comes to feeling motivated day to day, what I do is I say, how do I collectively create a toolbox so that when those days come that I don't actually want to achieve my goal because I just feel about myself, what are the things I'm going to use? Okay, motivation number 1. People say it, so I don't want it to be freaking cliche or cheesy, but it's true. Have a freaking mission. Have your why. So my goal is to impact 14-year-olds, but how do I emotionally connect to it? Because it's very different from saying I have a goal to emotionally connecting and pulling me out of these holes when I have it. So I go back to, what is a 14-year-old female, having them think in a certain way, important to me? Because I remember what it was like. I remember, guys, what it was like to be 14 and going in my mum's room, tearing up photos of myself because I freaking hated my nose, being 14 and feeling shitty about myself when I had these big dreams and everyone told me that I had no right to dream like that. All these things, the little Lisa inside me, the things that I've had to overcome, I go back to and I use it as my biggest motivation so that on the days that I'm not feeling good about myself, I have my why. I go back to emotionally connecting with my why. So what I want you guys to do right now is take what goal you have and then connect emotionally to the why. What is going to pull you up and out of bed on those days that you really, really do feel shitty about yourself? I can really get behind that. I can really say, all right, Lisa, you're going to let your negative mind get in the way and demotivate you, or are you gonna freaking attach yourself to that 14-year-old that doesn't feel great about herself? So that becomes now a motivation tool for me to go back to. All right, bear with me. That's just one tool. It's like the hammer. Now we want the wrench, and just in case it calls for a different skill set. So what I then go to is music. Like, music really does allow me to feel a certain way about something. So anytime I'm not feeling motivated, anytime I just feel like I want to freaking sit on the couch and lick my wounds over how badly I feel about myself, or, oh my God, Lisa, you're not there yet on your goal, and who the hell do you think you are, and can you believe it's taken you this long to get to your goal? All of these negative things that get to me is what gets in the way of me achieving the goal. I go to, how do I influence myself on the opposite way? So once this starts to spiral, I go to freaking music. I play a song that gets me so freaking amped and jammed. And if I'm not feeling it, guys, I literally will start to wiggle. Like, I'll actually start to sing along, I'll start to dance. It's like, I'm a survivor, right? Like, just belt it out, put your arms, like, put your body behind it. That is another way of a tool of how I get myself motivated. So another thing is, we've all heard about affirmations, but there is a but. You cannot just freaking rely on saying an affirmation and repeating it and then expecting it to actually be so. No, like, I think that's where we go wrong with affirmations. I think that's where we go wrong with quotes and motivational tools like that, is that we just expect it to land. But you gotta freaking do the work, right? It's like, it's in front of you, but you're the one that has to actually process, that has to remind yourself of what that affirmation means to you and why on earth you're freaking saying it in the first place. So let me just give you an affirmation that I use a lot when I was starting to go on this journey. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. Now, it's been used a lot, but it's so freaking powerful. It's so freaking powerful because it, again, everything, guys, everything I ever talk about, whether it's goal setting, whether it's relationships, everything I talk about always comes back to how I feel about myself. Like, that's it. Like, whether I want to be a CEO of a company, or whether I want to be an amazing wife, or whether I want to be a good friend, or whether I want to get over my self-sabotage, it all comes back to that. Remember one time where you felt so shit about yourself? You got it? You're holding on to it right now? Okay, great. Now how do you feel about it? You're like, it kind of still stings, but it never is like it was on that first day or when you first felt like that. And that's exactly how I feel about saying this too shall pass. It's like, while the feeling right now feels so real, it feels like I'm gonna feel like this forever. The truth is that you don't. And this is just one little signal and a reminder that in that moment that you think, oh my God, everything's falling apart and my goals are gone to shit, and who the hell do I think I am going after my goals in the first place? It's just a little disruptor that reminds me, this too shall pass. So guys, those are some actual tactical tips and takeaways that you can immediately do in order to push yourself to be motivated, to go and crush your freaking goals, even when, especially when, you don't feel motivated to do it.
Rule number 7, have self-discipline with John Assaraf.
When you're in a constant state of review, tweak, adjust, behave, review, tweak, adjust, behave, that is a self-disciplined action and habit that will lead you to achieve every one of your health, wealth, relationships, career, business, charitable, every goal you have. Today I was thinking about something that I talked about on our last Q&A session that lit up a lot of people's minds and I think your emotions, and it was around self-discipline. I said that every one of us is 100% self-disciplined already to our current thought patterns, emotional patterns, and behavioral patterns, which obviously are responsible for our results. So my question for you today is this: do you have the right disciplines? Do you have the right disciplines to set goals, create plans, and achieve them? Do you have the right disciplines to prime your brain with your vision, your goals, and your plans for the day every day? Do you have the right discipline to review your day at the end of the day to see what did you do well? What could be tweaked so that tomorrow is even better? Do you take time on Sunday nights for maybe 30 or 40 minutes to plan your week so that you're not reacting to stuff, but you're planned you're organized, you're in action that's deliberate versus reactive. That's another discipline. Do you take time every month to review your month? Do you take time every quarter to review your quarter? Do you take time at the end of each year to review the whole year and then to plan your vision for the next year, your goals for the next year? Now, these little disciplines are what I call keystone disciplines or keystone behaviors and habits that set you up for success. And so I like to consistently ask myself, do I have the right keystone habits, the big things, that swing, the little hinges that swing the big doors? So a couple things I can tell you that really work for me is taking the time to think, to plan, to review my results, and in a state of no blaming myself, no shaming myself, no feeling guilty, no justifying, no wishing I wish it was different or better or this or that, just in a pure state of awareness, I tweak and adjust and tweak and adjust and tweak and adjust and tweak and adjust. And here's what happens. What you'll discover is you're gonna be on course a lot of the time. You're gonna be off course some of the time. But when you take the time to recognize if your thoughts are aligned with your vision and your goals, are your emotions, your things that cause you to take action are not aligned with your vision and goals, are the behaviors that you're taking aligned with achieving those goals? Now, when you're in a constant state of review, tweak, adjust, behave, review, tweak, adjust, behave, that is a self-disciplined action and habit that will lead you to achieve every one of your health, wealth, relationships, career, business, charitable, every goal you have. The how to achieve the goal is the easiest part. Getting yourself to take the inspired action because you have a big reason why you must is really what you need to work on, because we all are going to have challenges. We're going to have failures. We're going to have days we feel like on top of the world, and other days we feel like, oh man, I just don't even feel like getting out of bed. That's okay. That's normal. That's called being human. But if you have the self-discipline to get up and do a little bit, to get up and adjust and tweak, then you win the game more than you lose the game. Think about athletics for just a moment. To make it into the Hall of Fame, for example, in baseball, you will not hit 3 out of 10 balls. You will not hit them. You will not get on base. That means you're failing, so to speak, 7 out of 10 times. But to make it to the Hall of Fame, the best of the best, all you need to do is get on base 3 times. So a lot of people have a misunderstanding of success, and that is that you succeed every single minute, every single hour, every single day. And that's not true. Right? The most successful people in the world are consistently taking action, making sure that it's the right action. If it's not, they adjust. So have the self-discipline to not blame, shame, justify, or make yourself feel guilty. Have the self-discipline to create the plans, take inspired action, manage your thoughts, get into the right state, the physiology, the feelings that you need in order to achieve your goals and dreams. Take inspired action daily. And don't focus on perfection. Focus on a little bit of progress every single day.
And rule number 8, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is have a mantra with Dean Graziosi.
I want you to have a mantra or an incantation. It is your battle cry. Now, you don't have to figure it out now, but I would love for you to figure this out. And I wrote down some simple ones because I would say, I told you I went broke. And it was probably 20 years ago that I made a big shift in my life. And I went from being in the collision business and the auto sales business and apartments and real estate into the self-education industry, what I'm in now. And in that transition, it was difficult. It was before the internet. So I had to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars for an infomercial. And I had to put product in a warehouse. It's not like today's world where we're all connected online. Look what we're doing right now. Those things didn't exist. You want to do a live event, you had to spend the money, get an event. You want to sell a course, you had to create a $200,000 infomercial and buy media and all this stuff. And man, I was burning up all the money I had, and it was just in a tough spot. And then the money I did have, I had an accountant at the time guy was 55 years old. Wow, the same age I'm almost now. Never gambled a day in his life. The guy started gambling, lost all his wife's money, went into my account to borrow money to go gamble to get it back, and without knowing, he burned up all the money I had. So now we hit a little hiccup. I go to the reserve money, it's all gone. And he hadn't paid bills for a couple months. Like, I just happened to meet a guy at 55 who things went sideways in his life. And I remember like, there's no way I can get through this. And I started telling myself really shitty stories. And I remember feeling like, what am I gonna do? And I'm gonna look like a failure. And everybody who told me I was crazy for going in the self-education industry was right. And all these kind of things. Man, thank God for Tony Robbins. Thank God for courses and getting in my mindset in the right place. And I remember going through all these processes I'm sharing with you today. But one thing that really helped me is I remember taking a walk and I got this mantra in my head. And if I can get through this, I can get through anything. And I remember, excuse my language, I only swore once today. My mantra was, if I can get through this, I can get through anything. I'll leave the S word out for the rest of it, but that's what I was saying to myself. And I remember just walking every day. The gym was like 2 miles from my house, and I'd walk to the gym, and as crazy as this sounds, I remember thinking, if I can get through this, I can get through anything. If I can get through this, I can get through anything. And I said it over and over. Like literally, I'm walking down the street, and I remember cars passing me. I had earbuds in, and I'm just repeating this. Probably people probably thought I absolutely lost my mind. But I remember thinking, if I can get through this, I can get through anything. And I just said it over and over. I would love for you to come up with a mantra for this year. Maybe it's, if not now, when? If not me, who? If not this, what? If not now, when? If not me, who? If not this, what? Say it when you're alone. Say it to yourself. Say it out loud. Go take a walk. But when you say it to the world, it comes back and it gives you this visceral feeling that it's hard to explain. This is my year because I'm gonna be the man or the woman God meant me to be. This is the year I tap into my full potential. This is the year I make no excuses. I don't know what yours is, but I'm gonna encourage you to find a simple one, that when you're having those tough days, you go back to your why. You let your why sink into your heart, that emotion. And then you repeat your mantra. Get yourself back on track. Let me, honestly, right now, if I was gonna judge your state, if 0 is lethargic, tired, defeated, I can't do this, life sucks, and 10 is, I got this, I'm doing it, I feel it. Right now, your state, on a 1 to 10, where are you right now? I wanna get you back to this state, because this is the state where anything is possible. This is the state where you go, I got this. Hand the problems over to me. You can't handle it, I got it. This is the state we want to live in. So what are the things what can we do to get us back in this state when we're having a tough day? Right? That's what we have to think. So come back over here. So if we know where we are with honesty, we know where we want to go, pretending it's a year from now, it was the best year of our life, we write it down like crazy, that's where we want to go. If we know where we are and we know where we want to go, we have this gap that we have to fill. Before we get the capabilities to fill the gap, what do we need to do? We need to get into our hearts. We need to get into our emotion. And we need to create a why so deep. You know, one of my students said once, if your why doesn't make you cry, you didn't go deep enough. And I'm not trying to say that, but you need a why that when you think about, you either get tears or goosebumps. And if you're not there, you got to go through the process. You got to go through I went through it quick today, but you got to go through the real process of the 7 levels deep. So you're so in line with it. So you're so connected to it that when you're having a tough day, when stuff goes sideways, because it will, when people don't believe in you because they won't, when every sign points that it's not going to work, that you're not going to accomplish it, you need to go back to this why and go, I don't care. Listen, you can't look at success through odds. You don't have the odds of being happy, healthy, wealthy. Who cares about odds? You throw the odds out. You have a compelling enough why, nothing can stop you. So if you know where you are, and you know where you want to go, and you know there's a gap, you would fill it with an emotion, and then come up with your yearly mantra, your incantation for the year. You know, it could be simple. If not now, when? I want to be the woman God designed me to be, and this is my year. Just come up with something no one has to know. You don't have to tell anyone else. You're having a tough day, go take a walk and say it to yourself. I'm telling you, the more you say it, the louder you say it, the more you put it out to the universe, you feel it in your body and you become alive. And that's what we need to fight this good fight, especially in a time where things are a little crazy in the outside world. So if you know where you are and you know where you want to go, you attach an emotion, you get your mantra. The last piece, that's good, Mike. The last piece is how are you going to get there? How are you going to get there? Right? Let's go back to the whiteboard for a second. This is the gap, right? And we just need the pieces to fill the void. So as you're setting goals, if you want to make them a reality, right? We had the vision. It was a year from now. It was the best year of our life. That's our goals. We got an emotion attached to it. That's why I want to do it. Now, how am I going to get there? That's where you need to decide what's missing. If it's in business, so many of you are with us in Project Next, go back into the course. Get a coach, get a mentor, right? Go back through it. Set goals that stick. Look at my goals every day. Some of you need the accelerated success formula. That's the gap to make sure you have the right mindset that becomes bulletproof. Maybe you need to get a mentor. Maybe you need to work with somebody. Maybe you need to get a gym membership. Maybe you need a love coach. Maybe you need to go counseling. Maybe you need someone to help you figure out how to do meals. Maybe you got to find a course to get better at the meals that you make, or get a course to find your soul again. I don't know what capabilities you need, but this is the how. Because listen, your best thinking got you here. Your best capabilities got you here. That's not a bad thing. My unfair advantage is that I've spent over $1 million on courses and masterminds and workshops, either attending them or creating them in my life. When I want to learn something, and this is the evolution I want to share with you guys today. I set it up earlier, but this is the part that's really important. When I have a gap in my life, I told you the gap in my relationship, I told you my gap in a business, my gap in health. When I want to get from here to here, the first thing that comes to mind is how. And I want to get the capabilities, hear me, remember the most costly advice in the world is learning from someone that's not qualified to teach you. Bad advice is the most costly advice. So you want to learn the how and the capabilities from someone who's already done it. But this has evolved in my head. See, when I think of how to go from here to here, and I attach my emotion, I've evolved that to who. Here, come back over here. Think about that. Who has already done it? Who has lost the weight? Who has fixed the relationship? Who has launched courses online that knows how to do it? Who has the mindset strategy so I don't get lost in 2022? Who has the mindset strategy where I could stay anchored, stay in this state, build my confidence, and become unstoppable? Feed the inner hero, not feed the inner villain. Who has done that? And when I look through the lens of who, it takes away the anxiety. I just want to find who's already been there, gain their capabilities, and then take uncomfortable action. So today, as we've taken this whole journey together, what I want to share with you is when you know where you are with honesty, when you know where you want to go, you have a compelling future. And you should stare at that every day. And then you must do something most people don't. You got to get into your heart. And you got to attach an emotion to it on why you want it.
Focus on who you are serving instead of who you're not. That one sentence is at the core of how I've been able to stay so consistent, to keep making content, to not give up, to not get too discouraged, and to get back up every single time and keep going, because I focus on who I am serving instead of who I'm not. I just recently spoke at Brendan Burchard's Influencer Summit, and I shared my graphic of how I've grown over the years on my channel. Every time I show that graph, they always ask me, how did you keep going? In the first 5 years, when you had no subscribers, when you had no comments, how did you keep going? And how did you make so many videos? How did you not burn out? How have you made 12,000 videos over 12 years? How do you keep doing it? And I don't think I'm superhuman. I don't think I'm extra special. I think I had actually more problems than most. I'm shy, I'm introverted, I was afraid of the camera. I felt like only egotistical people put themselves on camera and told their story. I had lots of limiting beliefs and struggles in getting my channel and just belief in myself to put anything out there. I hated my first 350 videos. I couldn't watch anything back. Totally embarrassed by everything I made. And it was 750 videos before I inspired myself, before I finally liked one of my own videos. Like, you know what? I'm starting to get decent at this. That was a good video. 750 videos in before I did that. So how do you keep going? How does that make any sense? Because I always focus on who I was serving instead of who I wasn't. Most of us just focus on who we're not serving. Think about your growth. Think about if you've made any kind of content. You know, at the beginning, you get nothing, right? There's no reaction, there's no comments, and then maybe you get one comment, and then maybe you get 5 comments, or maybe you get 10 likes, or maybe you get however many views on your videos, right? You get 100 views on your video. Now that's kind of the standard. Now if you get 20 views again on a video, ooh, that doesn't feel so good, right? Or if you get 1,000 views on a video, or 10,000 views on a video, or 100,000 views on a video. I remember the first time I got 100,000 views on a video, I was like, wow, I've made it. And then it's easy to feel like, oh, the next video got 10% of that, and you feel like, oh, I suck, it's not working, right? Instead of focusing on that, because that's a losing game, focus on who you are helping and assume that it is serving people. I've always felt, I think, some kind of responsibility or just gratitude that anybody would care about what I had to say and that you were spending your time with me. I remember my first speaking gig was at the YMCA in Canada, was at the YMCA, and 3 people showed up. You know, 3 people showed up, and I just did my best to give a great experience to those 3 people. And then I kept doing it, and the next time we had 4, and then we had 7, then we had 12, and then we had 15, and then we had 20, and then we outgrew the space. And so then I went to the boardroom of a bank, Royal Bank of Canada, and took over their boardroom at night for entrepreneurs. These were free events I was putting on just to help entrepreneurs. I had no business model or pitch, just serving. And then we got too big for the Royal Bank. So then we went to Indigo, which was a bookstore. It's like a Barnes & Nobles of Canada. We had, you know, people coming out, and then more and more and more. Every 2 weeks I did it again, and more people came. And at the height, we had the second most number of people to ever show up at the bookstore. Number 1 was Sting when he launched, the musician Sting, when he launched his book. He came and he did a little concert, and that was the number 1 event in terms of the number of people that came out. And the second one was my little entrepreneur speeches. It's crazy. When you focus on who you are serving instead of who you're not, it does a couple of things, okay? Number 1, it makes you feel so much better about what you're doing. It makes you feel so much better that what you're doing matters, right? We all want to feel like what we do matters. And if you're used to 1,000 views on a video and then you get 100 views on the next one, you feel like you don't matter, right? You feel like you're losing your value because it didn't reach as many people. Don't think like that. 100 people saw it. Be thankful and be grateful for the 100 people. It doesn't mean that you stop caring about growth and improvement, right? Somebody asked me about satisfaction and happiness, and they said, I'm always happy, but I'm almost never satisfied. I always want to be getting better, to grow, to improve, and it's more a personal thing of I want to put my best effort out there. Today, this video, I want it to be one of my best videos ever, and maybe I accomplish that, maybe I don't, but it's the intent, because I'm never satisfied with where I'm at, but I'm happy. I'm happy as a human because by putting out great work and by paying attention to who you are serving, I think that's the key to being happy, to being fulfilled, to feeling like what you do matters. So it gives you that. By focusing on who you are serving, it gives you that. And number 2, when you focus on the people who you are serving, here's a secret. They take you to the people who you're not serving yet, right? If you love this video, you might share it with somebody. You might come back and watch another video, and maybe you share that video with somebody. When you focus on loving on your community, it's that double whammy in a positive way of you feel so good that what you do is having a meaningful effect. And when you love on your customers, when you love on your audience, they're going to take you to more people because they're going to feel the love and they're going to spread it for you. You don't have to tell them to do it. They'll do it on their own because they get good vibes by being around you, even if it's just virtually. I think it's really critical. People are really struggling with mental health in creation right now, in entrepreneurship right now. It's a giant struggle. And I see a lot of my contemporaries, a lot of people on YouTube giving up after a couple months, saying, I need a mental health break, I'm burnt out. And I've made 12,000 videos over 12 years and we're still going. And it's not, again, that I'm superhuman. It's just a shift. I'm focusing on who I am serving and who I am helping, not all the things that I suck at and how I'm not growing fast enough, because that game never ends, right? It's a never-ending climb. So some years I do better than others, and some months I do better than others. And do I want to have bigger numbers? Of course. But it's not the reason why I do what I do. One other little trick that helps a lot is assume that for somebody, at least one person, what you're going to create today is going to be life-changing. Assume that for somebody, at least one person, what you will create today will be life-changing. That if you're making content and 100 people see your video, and you might think that's a failure because you're used to 1,000 views on your video, that for one of those 100 people, it's a life-changing video. My hope, my intention is that this video today is a life-changing video for somebody. For some of you watching, for most of you watching, maybe it's just another good video. It's like, hey, thank you, good shot of espresso in the morning. Here we go, thank you, awesome. Or you're having breakfast, or you're doing something else. You're driving in your car on your way to work, and you're listening to me. Awesome, amazing. But I hope that for one person, it's a life-changing video. It's finally going to give you the permission to go off and do the thing that you desperately want to do, that you know is in your heart and has to come out. I just feel that. And I've seen it enough over the years of people telling me that my videos have had an impact on them only years later. Yesterday at Brendan Burchard's influencer event that I spoke at, people were commenting and then DMing me on Instagram and sharing stories of, I've been following you since whatever year, and this is the first time they're ever telling me. Right? They never left a comment on a video. They never messaged me. They never emailed me. They never tweeted. They never sent anything. It's the first time I've ever seen their name ever. And they've been a hardcore follower for a decade. And I've had a huge impact and I'm part of their daily life. And it's only now, a decade later, that I'm finding out about it. Right? There are people who are like that for you too. And we just assume that we don't matter. And we assume because you might get a few less views on a video or post that it's not having an impact and not having a reach, and then you take that personally and feel like you suck. Assume that it's making an impact on somebody. Assume that it's life-changing for somebody, that you are giving hope, encouragement, motivation, permission for somebody else to go and become their best selves. When you tie your self-worth to the results that you're getting, you ultimately are going to lose, because have some days where you don't get results, and it's going to defeat you. It's going to lead to stress. It's going to lead to anxiety. It's going to lead to wanting to quit. It's going to lead to burnout. The key to fulfillment, the key to momentum, the key to sustained activity, and the key to actually loving the work that you're doing is reminding yourself to focus on the people that you are serving instead of the ones that you aren't.
Because you made it this far in a video, I want to celebrate you. Most people start and don't finish. Most people never actually follow through. Most people say they want something, but they don't ever do the work to actually get it. But you are different. You are special. Believe Nation, you made it here all the way to the end, and I love you. So as a special celebration, if you put a hashtag believe down in the comments below on this video, I will showcase you and celebrate you somewhere on the screen in a future video, because you are awesome.
To see 10 amazing rules from Gabby Bernstein, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
And appreciation creates more of what you want. So if you've got something good going on, go appreciate it even more. Talk about it, thrive in it, write about it, feel it, meditate on the feeling of it.